Hello, hello. Welcome. Just gonna wait for some more people to join in. Hi, welcome back. Should have some other people from the Facebook group and from the website joining us tonight. We haven't had a Crabiscope chat in probably at least a month, I guess. Took a break for the holidays so that everybody could get their shopping and all that done. I didn't figure there'd be a ton of people around to Periscope with over the holidays, so we just took a little time off. But we're back. First Crabiscope of the new year. We're just looking at my crab tank right now. I have a 150-gallon tank. Hi, Beth. Welcome back. Hello, hello. Just looking at my tank right now, waiting for a few more people to join. Just be sure to say hi when you come in. Let me know where you're from. And if you haven't been on our scope before, just let me know what your name is, where I might know you from. Thanks, Beth. I feel like I need a bigger tank. I still don't feel like I have all the stuff in here that I want to have in here, and it seems crowded. Isn't that ridiculous that a 150-gallon tank can seem crowded? And of course the glass is, always upgrading. The glass is a little bit dirty. Oreos and rainbows, hello. Welcome. Do you have hermit crabs? It's a little boring right now because none of my crabs are out. Ever since I put in this extra leaf litter, I've seen no one. Now I know where several of them are hiding out because I saw them earlier, but I don't want to go rooting around in there. Oh, Melissa! Oreos and Rainbows is Melissa from Facebook. You made it! How exciting! Look, I went to get a wheel today and all they had were these little saucers. 5 trips I've forgotten at Petco to look for a hamster wheel. I finally make a trip just for that purpose today, and all they have are these little saucers, which I think still might work. And it's small, so we'll see. Yeah, I just put it in a couple hours ago, so no, nobody's touched it. I'm sure it'll be a good month before anybody gets anywhere near it. I think that Vanessa's supposed to be joining us, and Jenny. Yeah, I have 2. I've seen lots of videos of it, so that's why I wanted to get one. Back in the day, we used to use the wire ones, but I don't think they had the plastic ones back then, and people said that their crabs would use them, but we also used to use the exercise balls too, which we don't anymore, so. My crabs probably get plenty of exercise in here, but I read an article about where they were studying how much water evaporates from their shell, I think, while they're walking and traveling around. And they put them on treadmills, and they walked on those treadmills for hours, they said. So they're capable of walking long, long distances. So maybe they, this is like the crabby version of the treadmill. They can just get on there and go around and around in circles. I don't have an accurate count because so many of them went down. Most of my exotics I got back in the spring have been down for a while. I did see one of the Indos today. So I don't currently have an accurate count. I'd have to take everything out and try to find everybody above ground. And that's kind of a pain in the rear. I have more than I should in this tank, but most of them are babies still right now. So, and as of right now, you literally can't find, there's no visible crabs. So, at some point, I'm hoping to do another tank. Flutter Bayou, hello, welcome. Can you tell us who you are? I have sand mixed with the cocoa fiber. I have some of the chunkier cocoa fiber mixed in. And I did get some crushed oyster shells, but it's not... Oh, Stacy Spangler? Or do we have... Is there another Stacy? Oh, Lord. Another Stacy besides me? I think Stacy Spangler. But there was... I feel like somebody commented today on Facebook and your name was Stacy also. Anyway, the crushed oyster shells I just had to kind of sprinkle on top. And I'll have to let the crabs kind of work those down because you are the other Stacy, not Stacy Spangler. Okay. So I'll have to let the crabs churn those oyster shells in as they dig and burrow just to help get it mixed in. I haven't had that stuff in the tank before, but I know other groups are recommending it, using it, and it seems to have some benefits to using it, so I figured I might as well. And I think we still are supposed to be getting a shipment of blueberries in the spring. Christian's supposed to be getting his shipment this month. My substrate is sand and cocoa fiber. Can you see? It's pretty deep right there. That's about 12 inches on this end. Earlier today, oh, I still do have one. I've got a crab right, and there's my cat, who thinks that she has to be involved in all periscopes. Let me turn on the overhead light. Stand by. So see, I've got a wee crabby down there in a little molting burrow. It's moving around a little bit. Oh, I didn't see that last comment, so you'll have to post again. It's kind of weird the way he's holding his legs. It's almost like he might be in mid-shed. I can't really tell. He seems like he's stiff. Normally there's not much activity down here other than the cat. Oh, so you mix the sand with the cocoa fiber because sand is really the ideal substrate. So if you think about what hermit crabs are encountering on the beach, it's typically just straight sand, but in certain areas under the trees, they're going to have leaf litter and other stuff like that. If you do just straight sand in your tank, it can increase the risk of you getting like bacteria and mold issues, stuff like that, because there's like no air circulation, even though the crabs are tunneling around and stuff. Also, the cocoa fiber helps with the aeration, but it also helps with keeping moisture in the sand, because the sand does need to stay sandcastle consistency so that it packs good for their burrow. Yeah, so then if you it depends on if your sand cakes, Beth. If it doesn't cake, you should be okay. Like if it doesn't cake on them. Like you can see when I was looking down here at this guy, he has like a nice little burrow and the sand is staying packed up around him. That's how it needs to be when they molt. If your sand gets too dry, it'll collapse in on them. So mixing the cocoa fiber in helps with the moisture. Yeah, so mine's just play sand, but I've got the cocoa fiber mixed in. And then, like I said, I started mixing in the bigger chunks of shredded coconut, and that helps with aeration, and then the oyster shells will too. There's Melissa back. I was hoping by putting out some fresh food that the crabbies would come out, but I think they're enjoying munching on leaves, to be honest with you. I have oak leaves all over in the tank now. We have a giant oak tree at work. And hi, Jenny. I filled up a huge box. No, I don't have any isopods right now. I was going to order some from Stacy Spangler after, like, we had a really dry summer, so the place where I normally go, which is our wood pile, to gather my own, was, like, just empty. There were no roly-poly bugs back there at all, and normally it's wet and damp back there. So I didn't have any of my own to put in, because I've done that in the past. Although they always die off, I've never been able to keep them alive. So I'm planning on ordering some from Stacy Spangler. I just haven't gotten around to it yet. Jenny, isn't that awesome? Yeah, so in that that's the movie that we're in, and Kristen Wiig is the main character, but her brother is in the movie also, and her brother still lives at home with their mom, and he is a hermit crab fanatic. He even has his own, like, hermit crab store on the beach, like a little shack where he sells all the supplies and stuff. And you'll see he's wearing, like, his little hermit crab t-shirt, and his bedroom is full of tanks of hermit crabs. You only get to see the hermit crabs really briefly, but you'll see there's a scene where he's sitting at the kitchen table eating breakfast and reading the Crab Street Journal. It's so cool to see. And I wish the movie had been a little more successful, but oh well, it's still fun. The isopods help keep the tank clean and keep, like, so if you want to build a tank that's sort of like kind of a biotank, I gave them permission and I provided them with magazines to work from. So the isopods help, like, eat the crab poop and help break down organic matter. Like, if they bury food, the isopods will find it and eat it and break it down. So it just keeps your tank from getting bad bacteria, mold, which I don't have a problem with, but I do like the idea of them in there, like, eating up the poop and cleaning it up. Hello to Dalek, you're big crabby. I saw you posted a picture of him the other day. So you guys, I was thinking about doing something a little bit different that we haven't done before, because I still have 3 of the species posters left over. And, oh, somebody's back there. See you. So this year, because we didn't restart the contest until mid-year, we don't actually have enough photos to do the calendar like we normally do. And one of the things that we do for the calendar is, at the end of the year, we have a contest where all of the winners compete for, like, kind of winner of the year, but we call it the cover crab, because whoever wins the final like, winner of the year contest gets to be the photo on the cover of the calendar that we create. And that won't be able to happen this year, but we have probably 4 or 5 months worth of contest entries that we could use. And between both contests, I was thinking we could do just like a favorite photo for the year, whether it was a crabitat or just the crab itself. And instead of getting to be on the cover and getting your free calendar, you would get a free species poster. What do you guys think about that? Isn't it fun to have your crabs, like, on your coffee mugs? And I know there's a couple people out there that purchased posters already, but yeah, there will be a way to get a free one. So the contests for this month have closed, so it would be, I think we have, like, August through December that we have winners for that could compete. And then later on, Marnell, hi. Jenny, if I do it, it'll be a contest of everyone that won contest this year. So because you won 2 different contests, you would get to be part of the vote off, and you're still at Walmart. What are you buying us at Walmart? And so anybody who won a contest this year would go into the voting, and then it would just be based on a favorite photo kind of vote. Whoever got the most votes from that would win the poster. And then I think I'll probably do 2 more contests. I'm just not sure what they'll be to give away the remaining 2 posters. Crab Lover is Beth. It's 6 feet long. Nothing. You never go to Walmart and buy nothing. Beth is our current local rep in the Philadelphia area. I didn't mean to say that way. Can I pan the tank? Okay. Let me back up a little bit and stand up. Hold on. All right. So this is... Maybe I should turn on the overhead light. I don't know. So this is my big saltwater bin. So it's pretty deep, and it has a water fountain in the back of it that's circulating all the time. There's moss packed in around it, and I have a bunch of large flat stones in around there. So it kind of gives them a rocky area. Yeah, you can fit a person. I could fit in here anyway. And then I've got these awesome cocoa hammocks from Isopod Connection, which is Stacy Spangler. Then I have behind it a bamboo tunnel that I wrapped in burlap for climbing. There's an old turtle shell that's been in there for, gosh, like 6 or 8 years. They have picked it to the point where it's just crumbling. Like, they love that thing. So my brother catches and eats turtles, wild turtles, so he's going to be getting me another shell. I hate to say that, but nothing's going to stop him from eating turtles, so I might as well get another shell out of it. Then I have this old school turtle dock, which is upside down right here. They don't make these anymore, which really sucks because they're perfect for this. They fit in the corner. I cut the suction cups off and use command strips. All right, cat, stop. Well, so I left it in my garage for about 2 years before I put it in the tank. So by then it was like kind of dried out. So no, I never did boil it. It had been picked clean by the birds because we had a drought. There was nothing left on it. So I just let it sit outside for the heat of the summer, and then it was in the garage for 2 years. Anyway, this turtle dock up here has all my small to medium shells in it, and then this is the wireless receiver for my thermometer and hygrometer that measures this end of the tank. I've got, of course, plants. That's the hose from the bubbler. Oh, boiling it will ruin it. Okay, good to know. So then I've got this cocoa, like a half log of cocoa bark, and the crabs will climb up inside of that. Right there, that's one of those, hi Vanessa, one of those cork bark, like wall sections that I use as a divider. Let me try turning on the overhead light. So I use that as a divider to hold the substrate back out of the rocks. Can you see a little bit better right there? It kind of makes a retaining wall. So I've just got rocks in there. And then behind the cocoa bark tunnel, there is a great big cocoa fiber bowl type thing. It's supposed to be a flower pot liner, and that has my large shells in it. The crabs, a bunch of them are hidden down in between there. Hi, Vanessa. Then there's another big cocoa bark tunnel back here. This is another favorite hangout. My giant heat mat on the back, and then I moved the smaller one to the very end. And then I have that insulated with this, it's like a insulated ductwork stuff. So I have that all around the back of the tank. Your 40 seems small. Then, of course, we've got some fish netting. Yeah, it's better to heat from the side. You get more heat in the tank, And you don't have to worry about overheating down where your molters are at and cooking your molters. And if you insulate on the back side, it pushes all the heat in. So then I've got a hanging net, also another log, food dishes. That's the freshwater pool back there. This is my second thermometer that's just up front. That one back there is burrowed in the substrate so I can tell what temperature the substrate is. Can you see the little hanging coconut back there? Stacy Spangler sells those also. And those are really cute. It's like a round... It's a round cocoa hut, but it's hanging off of twine. It's got a big hole in the center of it. They don't use that net very much, Vanessa. I'm kind of disappointed. I've seen the Kvipes on there a couple times, but they just don't, I don't know why. They just don't seem to dig it. So then the log comes across, and I have this, I have the freaking hiccups now too. I have this wood bridge. Damn it. Okay, hiccups go away. I have this wood bridge that's also from Stacy Spangler, and I do see the crabs on it from time to time. So, I just like the way it looks too. It's really cool. A big chunk of coral back there that I've had for a million years. You're looking for a 55-gallon. Yeah, cork bark tiles also make a good second level. I have another bamboo tunnel. No, I have the hiccups. And I wrapped that one in burlap also. The wood bridge I have mounted with, these are Command. They're also made by 3M, but these are clips instead of hooks. So they just stick to the glass. Oh, that day was the most god-awful. You know, I don't even want to remember that day. And then I have another turtle dock mounted up here that I have a bunch of moss in. And I did sprinkle some flaxseed. Sure, Jenny, go ahead. I sprinkled some flaxseed and chia seeds in there, and they've started sprouting. 155-gallon. I would say you just should watch Craigslist because there's going to be a bunch of people. This is frog moss or pillow moss or sheep moss. I got it off of Amazon, cheaper live moss than at Petco. But Jenny, I would check Craigslist because I bet there's people, I know there's people who got big fancy fish tanks for Christmas, and by February they'll be sick of them and be selling them for cheap. That's just a little Chinese, it was like a flower pot, but I kept it even though it's super tiny. Yeah, it's live moss, but I can't keep it alive very well. Some people do, but I just keep putting it in there and try to keep it wet, but it always turns brown on me and dies, so I just keep replacing it. But I thought that little dish was really cute, so I just turned it on its side and stuffed it full of moss. And sometimes I see the little Kvipes in there. And then I've got oak leaves just sprinkled all over the top of my substrate. And I've got an eggshell in there tonight. There's some calcium mix from Stacy Spangler at Isopods Connection, which the crabs really like. Mealworms. That is a hamster saucer that I got today. I was looking for a plastic hamster wheel because I've seen videos of people with their crabs actually using them for exercise. So this is the similar thing, but it's sort of slanted and flat. So I don't know if you can kind of tell how it's at an angle. So let's see if I can lift that off and show you. If they get on it, it will just turn ever so slowly. Kidney bean plants. Cool. Oh, I knocked that loose. So hopefully they'll exercise on that. 10 different leaves from HCP. Yeah, they love leaves. They really do. And I'm sure that's why they haven't been picking at their food as much, because they've been munching on leaves. Yep, green peas are safe. I've done some other sprouting in my little germinator, but it's so easy to put the flaxseed and chia seeds just right in the tank. And I've added bags of those to the prize bag, or the prize bin, so you can get those as prizes if you want some. Oh, hibiscus. Yeah, kidney beans should be safe too. Then I've got some food from, I think from Hermit's Kitchen. My tank is 150 gallons, so it's 6 feet long, and I think it's 2 feet deep, and then I think across this way, I believe that's 18 inches across there, if I remember right. But it wasn't an aquarium, it was a reptile tank, and I found it in the newspaper, and I think I paid, it was like $60 or $70. So I got this tank for nothing. Hibiscus usually come back every spring. How many pounds of sand? Wow. I think there may be 6 bags in here. I don't remember. Oh, sorry. Okay, so it's 150 gallons, 6 feet long, and I believe it's 2 feet deep this way. And then I'm pretty sure across this way over here, it's 18 inches. But it was a reptile tank. But so this tank has been set up for 3 years since I moved. And yeah, I'm trying to remember. It was a lot of sand. It may have been 6 bags. How many dividers? Do you mean on top or the wall over there? Yeah, I don't remember. I feel like there may be, I don't know, 4 or 6 bricks of Eco-Earth. Oh, so there's 4 sections on top. And my plexiglass, this stuff is, I've had it as long as I've had the tank, so it's banged up. So, yeah, there's 4 openings across the top. 120 pounds. I know there's a lot of sand in here. And of course it's compacted down. Before it really settled, this was probably another couple inches higher. So it's settled quite a bit. Yeah, it sucks. Yeah, we were just talking about that, Stacy, and I feel like maybe it was 6 bags of sand. But then I feel like I put 4 to 6 bricks of Eco-Earth in here, of cocoa fiber. So it's probably more than 6 bags of sand. And it's settled. So I think there's more in there than it looks like. It's a lot. A lot, a lot, a lot. Just when you think you have enough, you gotta go back and get more. How many are you missing, Jenny? I know it's been a while. Well, I really don't have, well, I shouldn't. Up until I started messing with my heating setup, I never had to moisten it. Once you mix in the damp cocoa fiber, and that moistens the sand, and the sand is always a little moist coming out of the bag. If you keep your humidity level up, the sand doesn't really dry out. And then having the moss on top helps keep the moisture down. But I started messing around with my heating setup, and I put a heat emitter in here, and it totally destroyed my humidity, even though it was like a 50 watt, or maybe smaller. 15 watt. I went with like the smallest one. So, it completely dried my substrate out. Yeah, you won't be able to dig till they're all back up though. And when it was drying out from the heat emitter, what I do is I go to the very back corner back there and pour a small amount of water kind of down the glass so it runs into the corner, just in that one corner, and that way it can leach out. And I just kept doing that over and over again, like a little bit every day, a few times a day, to kind of get the sand moist again. And it's good and moist. I mean, you can see down here his little burrow is holding up well. I can see his little legs flailing around. So if your humidity is good, it should stay damp. If you have good airflow, it shouldn't really fog up too bad. Like mine is a little bit, I've got a little bit of condensation right here, but that's because I have this really wet moss right above it. I like soaked that moss earlier today, so it's just extra steamy in that corner. If the outside glass, if the room is cold, it's always going to get foggy and have condensation because you've got the cold air on the outside of the glass and the warm, wet air on the inside. I see another little Caribbean back there. You see him climbing over the leaf. It's one of the babies. Most of my crabs are small like that. Maybe he's gonna come and eat. I can't tell if that's part of a burrow right there. What else could I possibly add, right? Talk to a guy on Facebook, Hermit selling a 75. Stacy, I don't know the exact count because I adopted or purchased. I don't want to say adopted because I bought them. I bought a bunch of exotics in the spring, and so I have a lot of crabs down. I imagine some of them didn't survive just because of the odds. So I don't have an exact count. I have more in here than I should, but they're all small right now, so I'm working on putting in a second tank. If I'm going to get the blueberries in the spring, I'm going to need another tank. I won't be able to have all of them in here. It would just be too crowded when they start molting. I don't change the substrate or deep clean anymore. 160 sump pump built in. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, so if you set your sand up right with the right amount of cocoa fiber, and even with some of the other amendments, like the chunkier pieces of the coconut, get you some isopods, leaf litter, and kind of get it established. You don't really need to deep clean. The tank will just take care of itself. So I don't do deep cleans. I stopped doing deep cleans a long, long time ago. Probably right after I got this tank, because it's such a bear to clean. And I've never had problems with mold. I've never had bacteria. So that little guy is coming up to eat. I think that's mango treat. I'm pretty sure the food in this dish is from Hermit's kitchen. Yeah, it's nice when it's just sort of self-sustaining. You don't have to worry about cleaning and changing out substrate all the time. What is that? A Porcilio scaber? I don't know what that is. Yep, he's having some mango treat. Oh, a fancy skink. Species of isopod. No, that's a purple pincher. Yeah, he's pale. I adopted 20 of these little bitty guys back in the spring also from a local guy that had adopted a bunch of them. Some lady went to like Mexico or Puerto Rico and brought back 200 crabs with her and then decided that she didn't want them. So he took a whole bunch of them and was finding homes. So I took 20 of the little teeny tiny guys. So I say I have a lot of crabs in here right now, but almost all of them are little like this. So long term they can't stay in here because I'll have a serious overcrowding situation. But for right now we're okay. It's just been like about 6 months. So I've got to get another tank set up. Yeah, I haven't had food mites either. I mean, it's been a long time. Why do I love hermit crabs? Yeah, because they're so fascinating, I guess. I mean, they're not your typical pet. But yeah, they're cute and they're fun to watch. I mean, I love learning about them. I like to study them. I enjoy like learning about the molting. Yeah, the eyes are what get me. They just, especially as much as I love the little Caribbeans, the oval shaped eyes on the E's just melt your heart. How can you not fall in love with them? I just had another guy on Flickr send me a whole collection of photos he took in Fiji of hermit crabs, and it's a bunch of ruggies, and they're so adorable. So adorable. Yeah, they're just, I don't know, and watching them climb and just the silly stuff that they do, and the whole molting process is fascinating. I think I'm also really interested in how they made the transition from being aquatic to being terrestrial. You know, that's kind of a cool thing to study, that morphology as they evolved. I did get a frame for my species poster today, so hopefully I'll have that mounted by the next time we do a Periscope. It is like Christmas when they come up from a molt. I had an Indo appear in the bin yesterday, and I'm pretty sure he was up fresh from a molt because he changed shells and was in one of the tapestry turbos. But when I tried to get a good look at him, of course, he hid from me, so I couldn't really see his feet. Anyway, I hope to have the species poster framed and hung up by next weekend, and I can show you guys what it looks like hanging up on the wall. Gretel just came up too. You have the best names for your crabs, Jenny. Vanessa, I can't wait till you get home and start posting more pictures of your crabs. Yeah, there's 3. I have 3 left that I can ship. When I got my exotics, were they super mini? So the Cavipes were very, very small. The Rugosus were very small. The Violas were, yeah, I guess. So I always think of my crabs being a little bit bigger, but so really the Cavipes and Ruggies were probably minis or micros. The Violas were small, and the Indos were mediums. So the Indos are the biggest in the tank. So you can also get the poster through the Store Envy store that we set up, but I had ordered 10 of them and had them shipped to my house, and I have 3 of those left over. And so they're $2 cheaper if you get them from me versus through Store Envy. The shells I have for the really mini ones. Okay, let me see. so there's a little, aside from the straws, how much do the Indos? I think the E's have, do better at higher temperatures, and they like a lot of sand. The Indos tend to not need salt water as much as the other species. There's a couple species that really don't go to the salt water much at all. Rugosus, I think, is another one in some places where they don't really, they do use some, but not like some of the other species. All right, let's see. So there's this the little baby Nereids. These are what the Cavipes came in. So you can see, I mean, the Cavipes are tiny. It's like my pinky size in there. I know it's hard to tell because these are all red from the bulb, but that's what I got. They're little. Yeah, they're really little. So off the top of my head, I know I don't remember exactly which species, but there's a couple species that, yeah, they do find it. Yeah, I've had them up there changing shells. So there's a couple species that you could house together. Oh, the violas, do you have some long pointy shells? Because that's what they like. The horrible long pointy shells. Let me see. Besides the Cavipes ones, but those Cavipes ones I don't think come big like that. See, of course they haven't changed shells, so like I don't have any empty like these. They might take one of those. But like, yeah, something like that. One of my violas was up earlier. Let's see who's back here. Can't tell. Those violas are little buttholes, though. They never come out. But yeah, they like those really long, pointy... Do you think you need some shells? I can look and see. Hold on here. I've got my stockpile. So this is one of my extra bins. I don't notice them being overly aggressive, but the only crab that I ever had attack one of my molters was a viola. It attacked one of my PPs. That was a long time ago. Looks like I have this one. The problem is having them that small. I know I've got some big ones. Like that one's a little bit bigger. Okay. Yeah, send me a message and I'll see what I have that might help. See, I have a fair amount of shells. These are the small and medium ones. Then I have a whole other big bin of big ones. No problem. Yeah, Jenny, it's hard to say. You know, they shouldn't be attacking unless they're... Do you think... I have a lot of shells, and it seems like there's never enough. They really, you know, they shouldn't be attacking other crabs, but I feel like violas are ones that I feel like somewhere I saw that they need a little more protein in their diet. And so, if you got them and they haven't been fed a balanced diet, that's usually when they turn to cannibalism. So, yeah, it's hard to say. No, they don't usually go after each other's antennas. You'll usually, if they're gonna attack, they usually get legs involved. But if they attack a molter while the molter's soft, they'll just kill them. Even because they can't protect themselves in the shell. Yeah, they'll just pick away at their big pincher and kill them. Most of the time when people think that one of their crabs attacked and killed another crab, the more likely scenario is the other crab died and the living crabs did what hermit crabs are meant to do. They ate the dead body. So, I mean, they keep our beaches clean, so that's what they're supposed to do. Going to city. Oh, nice. No tax. Seashell City. Is that the same one that has the website? They have a pretty decent site also, but I really do like that Richard Shells. Yeah, nature is scary. That Nature's Seashells, or not Nature's, Richard's Seashells has, God, they have really pretty shells. And they were so cheap. The ones I got for the contests were super, super cheap. And they were so pretty. So, I feel like they did a great job shipping them and wrapping them. It was easy to pick out what I wanted. I haven't ordered from the other companies in a while. I don't think a lot of them sell the long pointy shells that the violas like. Yeah, Richard's Shells, richardseashells.com, I think it is. They were Deltona or Deltana. I used to get my crabs out all the time and set up a playpen on the floor with them, but I don't really do that anymore. It's hard for them being out of the humidity, so I take them out for photos now and then, but try to limit that. Ah, you did look at Richard's shells. No, the little guy eaten, gave up and went away. Yeah, it used to be pretty common practice. We all used to do that. Carol Orms, the one that had the same hermit crabs for 27, well, it's been more than that now, but one of them died a couple years ago. But she did have both of them for at least 27 years, but I know it's over 30 now. She takes them out every night and lets them roam the house for exercise, but she also lives in Florida. So she lives in their native environment. So I don't think she runs her air conditioner. I think the house is just kind of ambient temperature, kind of whatever it is outside. So that's probably how she got away with that for so many years. Which would be kind of cool. Carol didn't die. Not that I know of anyway. She is in her 70s, though, and she has made arrangements with her daughter to take the remaining crab. Yeah, Jonathan died, so her crab Kate is still alive as far as I know, and she's, like I said, arranged for her daughter to take Kate if she's still alive when Carol does pass on. Really impressive, though. Yeah, Florida does have high humidity, and the Caribbean crabs are native to Florida, so she's living in their native habitat. Yeah, Kate has to be at least 40. I mean, she got them when they were pretty small. Yeah, right? Jonathan Livingston Crab. She's just wonderful. It'll be terrible to lose Carol too. She's out there crabbing, a crabbing pioneer. Yeah, like she wasn't even that interested in hermit crabs. I think she was one of the first people to ever have like an audio clip of hermit crabs croaking. We got a little climber up here that looks like one of the rugosus. Yep, yeah, the Geocities side is gone. It might still be on the Wayback Machine, though. Oh, yeah, tons of advice. I love ruggies, too. I mean, they're like E's, but they're calm enough that you can actually hold them and take pictures of them. E's are so hard to get pictures of. Like when I'm taking pictures, like for the species site, they're just impossible to get the E's to stand still long enough. Yeah, they just scramble everywhere. I was looking for one of my endos, but I don't know where he's at. There should be 5 of them in here. Yeah, nosy, curious, a little, but yeah, they're very outgoing. Sorry, I'm looking for crabs. I don't find E's to be aggressive. I think they're very active. They're very busy. So they're always going and they're digging and they're climbing over everybody and they're like just antsy little kids. They're just never still. Your straw was bossy. Hi, welcome, cat. When I first got the endos unboxed, oh gosh, for the first week, they were being such bullies at the food dish. Anybody came near the food dish and they would get a big giant punch from their big pincher and sent away, which they were held up in customs. So I'm sure they were hungry by the time they got here, but after that first week or so, they settled back down into their normal kind of docile behavior and they stopped with the punching and the kicking. Oh yeah, the one was ridiculous. That big pincher karate kick thing they do. Yeah, I remember when the Aussies first started showing up in the US and people talking about how aggressive they were in their tanks. But they're gorgeous. This little guy is like almost white. Come on, focus. Let's see. Can we see? Where'd he go? Oh, he's over here. Yeah, it's a rugosus, so he's kind of whitish color. They can be all different colors. See how light color he is? A little bit of tan on the leg. Hi there! He's like, oh hey, what are we doing? Yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot of color to him. Sharp little toes though. Sharp little toes. He's been molting. Look how pointy and long his toenails are. I say he, but I don't even know They're all he's. Okay, go back on the lid. Alright. Back in the tank. Yeah, they're so sharp. They are like little spikes, little needles. I haven't seen a pink ruggie, but years ago I had one, and I named it Tulip because that's what it reminded me of. It was the softest, prettiest pink. But the rugosas come in the most variety of colors. They seem like they can be pretty much any color under the sun. I had a good-sized black one when I very first started keeping crabs. And one of the things I've noticed it's rugosas get like a crust inside their eyes, or they come that way. Do I quarantine my newbies? Yes. If you go on to the crabstreetjournal.org, we have a article or a couple articles that talk about reducing or minimizing the impact of post-purchase stress, which leads to death. And it's a process that walks you through how to slowly acclimate your crabs. So you assume that they're coming from dry conditions where they don't have enough humidity, and it can be a physical stress on their body to take them from low humidity and drop them into a high humidity tank. And sometimes their body just can't keep up and they can't adapt, and that extra stress kills them. So what I do is I have a tank set up like a transition tank. I have a 5-gallon and a 10-gallon. And I set it up. The temperature, you can go ahead and put the temperature pretty close to the acceptable range. But you want to start with the humidity lower, like around 60%. And you want very little substrate in the bottom of the tank. You don't want the crabs to be able to dig down. They need to stay above ground because it's very important that they eat, so their body can adapt and adjust to the new environment. And then you slowly bring the humidity up a little bit at a time over about a month. And then by the end of the month, the humidity and temperature should be the same as it is in your main tank. Your crabs should still hopefully all be alive at this point. And they may still surface molt on you. And if they do, you have to be prepared to isolate them. But if you keep them above ground and keep them eating and slowly introduce them to the higher humidity, there's a better chance of them surviving once they're in the tank. It's not foolproof. Sometimes they still die. Some people don't do this at all and still have pretty good success. But really the worst thing that can happen... Hi, Marnell. Welcome back. The worst thing that you could do is just dump them in the tank and let them dig down and not eat. So they're just underground. They're not eating. They're not drinking. They're going to attempt to molt, and they haven't eaten anything to sustain their system to help with their regulation, the way they regulate their temperature. They haven't been above ground getting water and changing the salinity in their shell. So Sue Littell is the one that put this method together back in 2006. She was in contact with some biologists, and they kind of gave her some feedback, and she put together this method for transitioning your crabs. Nobody else was doing this at the time. I did some field trials with her and tested it out to see, if I had a better success rate. And in the beginning, I definitely did. I still lost some of the E's over the coming years, but they didn't die in that first month like they tend to do. And I've seen now that some other... Sue Littell was the lady's name. But I've seen some other sites are now posting this transition method on their site. They don't give any credit to Sue, of course, which is a common problem in the hermit crab world. But she's the one that put all the time and effort and work and research into putting that method together. And it's just about reducing the physical stress to the crab. Like they can adapt to less than ideal conditions. Their bodies allow them to do a certain amount of adapting, but it's just not, obviously it's not ideal. If you realize scaevolas live on the Red Sea, where, no, that's why we do this, is to answer questions. That's exactly why we do this. I am happy to answer questions if I can keep up. The scaevola live on the beach in the Red Sea, and it is blazing hot there. Blazing hot. So all day the scaevolas are burrowed in the sand or in like under leaf litter or whatever, and as soon as the sun goes down, they come out of their burrows and like basically go directly into the ocean. The papers that I read about them, I think I'm saying them right, scaevola. So the researchers, when they checked them, when they come up from their burrows, all of their shell water has evaporated. So in the course of the day, it gets so hot that even with them being underground, all of their shell water evaporates. So the first thing they do is go right for the ocean to replenish that. So they've learned to adapt to life in a very hot place. Probably be more comfortable in a little more temperate place, but they've learned to live there. Vanessa was giving me a hard time about how I say Kvipes because she thought it was pronounced totally different. I'm just looking to see. Oh, that's just my rock down in there. Okay. Let's see if I can back up and you can see the whole tank in one shot. I can turn the camera cavapes. I can turn the camera sideways. There's my paint can. That's what I sit on while I talk to you guys because I don't have a chair down here and because I'm short. There's my tank. So the only pump I have, and then I have overhead lights. You say cavapes too? I'm the only one that says Kvipes. With your heat pad, you want to make sure you have it insulated on the back side so that all of the heat is going to the inside. And then my pump, so the only pump I have is in, I'm going to turn the camera back around, is in the saltwater feature, is inside of this thing. And it's inside of the waterfall. Then I have the power cord protected inside this tubing so the crabs can't pinch the power cord. That runs all the way to the top and the bottom. And then this is my poor man's solution to keeping crabs from escaping up the tube. I cut a hole, well, I burned a hole in this clear plastic plate. I fed the cable and the tubing through there, and then I duct taped around it. So the crabs can climb up it, but then they hit the plate and there's nothing for them to grab onto and they can't get out of the tank. I've dealt with so many escaped crabs in the past that I'm always making sure, yeah, I MacGyvered it, making sure I have everything secure. So they sell this Reflectix, which is like a silver insulated roll stuff. So it's like, if you think of like silver bubble wrap, and you can get it online. You can also get it at Lowe's. So you can use that and just cut it to fit and tape it in place over your heat mat. My heat mat runs from there to there. Reflectix, there you go. And I have some, it's cardboard, but it's got silver on both sides of it, and it's used for ductwork in houses. And I got lucky, and when they came and ran some new ductwork for us, they left some of this behind. So it seems to work pretty good for insulating on the back side and pushing in. But I don't know if it's a contractor thing or if you could get it at Lowe's. I see someone else coming. You're welcome. Do you have any other questions? In a pinch, you could probably use aluminum foil, like if you had the heavy-duty stuff, because it would reflect some of the heat back into. I just don't know if long term how durable the aluminum foil would be. Beth, thanks for joining in. I'm glad we got you in here. Okay, yeah, Lowe's should have it, Home Depot, Amazon has it, I think Walmart has it. I was hoping Anne was going to make it too, but maybe something came up. Thanks, Stacy. Thanks for joining. We'll be doing this again next Saturday. And I think it was Beth or somebody else. Somebody else asked about you guys doing, Vanessa, I was wondering, and then I saw you post that you were waiting for it. But somebody asked about you guys doing Crabiscopes. And that would be awesome. There's no reason it has to be just me. If you want to host a Saturday Crabiscope, just let me know. I think it's better if we stick to roughly the same time and the same day so that people get in the habit of, like we do this Saturday night, you know. But if somebody else wants to be the host for the night and show off their tank and have us join in and check out their tank and ask questions, just message me on Facebook, on the group, or through the Crab Street Journal website and let me know that you're interested, and we'll talk about it and kind of get it organized. Well, Beth, I don't know if I'm very good at this. I just kind of sit here and ramble. And if you have people who are with you and talking and asking questions, it makes it so much easier to do a Periscope than to just sit here and talk to yourself. Yeah, Vanessa, we could try the group Hangout too in Google if we can get enough people interested in that. They seem to like that mango treat. They're not doing much with the stuff in the front is Cherry Crunch, and that was called Sandwich, I think. The other one was Sandwich. Oh, I have to get my webcam set up